Hello, folks. The 19X came out, and people started complaining about it was party in the rear and it was all business up front. They were complaining about there were no front slide serrations, and they said they couldn't understand why there was a short slide with a full size grip. Later on, the Glock 45 came out, and then people complained and said, well, it's really just a Glock 19X. It's just that it's black with the front slide serrations, and that it was not such of a big deal. It would just be a waste of money. Then later on, they came out with the 43X. Now, the 43X, people started to complain that it was really nothing more than a 43 with a longer grip that held more rounds. Some people said they were not going to do it because they had a 43. They were just going to use their magazine that came with the firearm with mag extensions, and it would be a waste of money. And some complained about the slide color, whether the finish was going to hold up or not. Now we have the Glock 48. Big question is, who's the Glock 48 for? I was lucky enough to get this. I had this on order for some time, and it was on special order because I have the AmeriGlo sights on here. And that, as you know, most of the new Glocks, the Glock 43X and the regular 48, comes with the regular goalpost outline sights. They do make the Glock 48 with the regular night sights, but this is one that you can also buy with the AmeriGlows on this. So that's why this was a special order. Just let me do a clearing for you so nobody will get nervous. As you see, there's nothing in the chamber as well as in the magazine. Okay. And put this just in for aesthetics. All right, overall length of this is going to be 7.28 inches with a slide length of 6.85 inches. Width is going to be 1.10 inches with the magazine, and with the overall height with the magazine in it is going to be 5.04 inches. The line of sight is going to be 5.9 inches. It's definitely larger than the 43X. It was the 43X is 4.20 inches. Excuse me, 5.20 inches. The weight with the magazine in here is going to be 18.48 inches. Oh goodness sakes! I'm sorry. That's 18.48 ounces, not inches, ounces. But with the magazine loaded, it's going to be 25.12 ounces. So that's a little bit of a difference. It's not that big of a deal. Just to give you a comparison of if you have the magazine, a fully loaded magazine, uh, this would be 23.07 ounces versus the weight with a loaded magazine, which I just mentioned, is 25.12 ounces. And without the magazines in, this firearm here, the 43X, is going to be 16.40 ounces. And of course, the weight with this, without the magazine, is going to be 18.48 ounces. What I like about this firearm, it's different and a little bit unique. It has that kind of look of a 1911, and that's what I call this Glock. I call this Glock the 1911 Glock because it has so many features that represent a 1911. Just to give you a little bit of a comparison here, this is my 1911. It's my Guardian, made by Dan Wesson. So you'll look and you'll see the profile. And I'm going to move the camera so you can see the profile a little better. And the Guardian is a commander size firearm. So this pretty much looks like a commander size firearm. And just laying it on top, you see it's about the same size. And if you look at the height, at the bottom, and the width, of course, the Glock is thinner, but they kind of share a similar profile. And that's the width right there. And of course, you notice the beaver tail on the Dan Wesson. And this type of beaver tail, it's not as pronounced as the beaver tails on that you can add on to your Gen 4 or Gen 5 Glocks. But I found it interesting that they got that kind of profile of the 1911 and kind of put that in this particular firearm. One of the reasons why I like this firearm and decided to get this one, uh, it's a slimline. It's their slimline version, so you can use this uh, at the range, and that line of sight is a lot larger, so you get a better not not so much of a better you'll get a good sight picture, but it gives you that longer sight radius where you can get on target. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to take this to the range. I just found out at the last minute when I was at the range shooting my other firearm, which was my Daniel Defense pistol. And then as I was leaving, I got a call from the other shop and they said, hurry up and pick it up. So I didn't get a chance to go to the shop and then come back and then take it to the range. So I'm going to save that another time so I can compare it with the 43X. Now let's compare the Glock 48 with the 45. They also kind of share the same footprint. And if you look, very similar. Because after all, the Glock 45 and the Glock 19 and 19X, the slide limbs are definitely the same. And it does have that profile of the 1911 Commander version. There's going to be some differences with the width, and of course the Glock 45, the width is a lot larger than the 48, and they both share the same AmeriGlo sights. Of course, the 45 is going to be a little weighty. This is going to be basically for concealed carry, but there are going to be some people that are going to question its ability to be a concealed carry because of the slide length. I'm a 1911 guy, so that wouldn't really affect me at all, and especially if it's a 1911 that's in the commander size. And I think that's what Glock was going for when they basically mimicked that 1911 commander size. Now, I definitely want to fire both of these to do a comparison. Like I said, that's going to come later on. But if you look at the frames between the 43X and also the 48, the frames are the same. They're exactly the same. And just to prove that, just doing a check. Pull the slide off. That's for the 48. And this is the 43X. Get these separate so I can prove that. Here's the 48 frame. Oops. And I'm all messing that up. That's why. And it does fit on here. I did this off camera, so there we go. And it's basically the same. Now, I'm going to switch this up. This is the 43 frame. 48, slide. Yeah, that one went on a little easier. And there you go. So they are interchangeable. And let me get everything back in order like it's supposed to be. And that way, I think when I had trouble with this, it's basically it gets hung up on the recoil spring. And that's what usually happens. And let me get this one back together like it's supposed to be. That's there. And they're both put back together. So as you see, both frames are the same and they are interchangeable. What I would like to see in the future is to see all the aftermarket stuff, whether people are going to customize this particular firearm and see what happens. I'm pretty sure there's some company out there that's going to be doing some milling and whatnot. And I did hear a rumor that there will be a black version that was from a dealer, but they said they're probably going to wait till a long time to do it because there are going to be some people that don't like this particular finish, like some people didn't like the FDE version of the Glock 19X. I'm looking forward to shooting both of them to compare them. I've shot this one. I really like the way this is. It's kind of weird because I feel as though this feels like this feels a little bit more heavier, but it's actually not. It's an illusion, and I think that's because everything is compact over here. With the 48, it feels like everything's a little bit more spread out. So I think that's an illusion. It just has a funny feel, a slightly different feel because this one is longer and this one's shorter. So with that said, I'm about to end this video. Like I said, I will be doing a shooting video later. I like the way this feels in the hand. And the funny thing is, I just want to add on to this. It doesn't feel like where you buy some slimmer firearms and the firearm doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's grippy enough because it's wide enough that my hand feels like it could have control. Like on the 43X, I had a lot of control. So there's not any difference in the grip, but you feel like you have that control. Now, obviously, with like the 45 or the 19X, it's a little bit girthy. And I prefer a girthier firearm, but I had no problems with this the way it feels. I know some people kind of complain about it because everybody's hand size is different. And I think for me, where this little lip is at the bottom, I think it helps me to also get a good purchase. But we'll see when the shooting video comes out. And that's all I have for now, folks. So happy shooting, #2X.